The Delta Research and Educational Foundation is aligning advocacy and action with Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated to advance the mission of DREF.
I am Renee Harper, President of the DREF Board of Directors. On behalf of the DREF Board and the constituents we serve, it is my honor to greet you and extend appreciation. Thank you for being steadfast supporters of our foundation and being a part of its journey for the last 55 years. We are proud to support the charitable and educational programming of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. We are grateful to our national partners, past and present, for collaborating with us to present awareness and engagement for programming that creates possibilities and improve lives. We invite you to participate in DREF programming and be a supporter of our fundraising campaigns. Together, we are stronger and able to be a positive, consistent influence in our communities.
DREF provides charitable engagement service to DST chapters, providing technical assistance with fundraising efforts, enabling chapters to receive charitable donations for educational programs, and managing scholarship funds for chapters and individuals.
I'm Desiree Best, President of the Greensboro Alumni Chapter, and we partner with DREF to manage our Jabberwock Fund.
Safe and secure.
Great customer service.
Where our fundraising dollars reside.
DREF and GAC. If your chapter isn't partnering with DREF, it should be.
The Union County Alumni Chapter partnered with DREF for our first ever Women's Conference. DREF's 501c3 status enabled us to raise significant sponsorships, receive a grant to cover event costs, and donate to our community partners. Thank you, DREF, for your amazing partnership.
DREF also offers program grants annually to Delta chapters through its Community Empowerment Grant-Making Program. Congratulations to the 2023-24 Chapter Grant Awardees.
Greetings. I'm Dr. Antoinette M. Rogers, DREF Director of Programs. DREF is pleased to introduce several new initiatives this year, including a financial literacy program made possible by Toyota. Delta chapters will also have an opportunity to conduct financial literacy education programs in your communities. Please follow us on social media and visit our website for regular program updates.
The Center for Research on African American Women and the Sister Scholars Advisory Council continue to present research and educational endeavors, including the Stephanie Tubbs Jones Summer Internship, the National Reading Circle, and a scholarly publication, Phyllis, the Journal for Research of African American Women. DREF is pleased to announce that it continues to receive funding from the National Institutes of Health All of Us Research Program for the 6th consecutive year. The continued funding enables the foundation to serve as a national community partner.
Hello, I'm Cheryl Thomas, the Principal Investigator of the DREF Research Matters for All of Us program, which is a very exciting and impactful initiative. The program is sponsored by the National Institutes of Health. As a national partner, our foundation has been instrumental in educating our families, friends, and neighbors throughout America on how biomedical research and precision medicine can make a tremendous difference in receiving effective medical treatment. We encourage them to enroll in the All of Us research program. DREF also works with historically Black colleges and universities to help increase their research capacity, leveraging the All of Us research program. It's unbelievable to report that only 5% of the Black population participates in clinical trials. DREF has a team of citywide coordinators presenting informational sessions throughout the nation. Connect with them when they present in your area or log on virtually at joinallofus.org/DREF. DREF Research Matters gives you an opportunity to help shape the future of our healthcare.
Hello, I am Carla Green, DREF Executive Director. It is my honor to extend greetings to you on behalf of our staff and to thank you for partnering with us. DREF collaborates with the sorority to address issues affecting African American women and our families. We provide support to the sorority through our charitable engagement service. This service is instrumental in augmenting your fundraising plans. DREF's 501c3 nonprofit status enables us to receive charitable donations on behalf of our constituents. DREF also offers its annual Community Empowerment Grant-Making Program, disaster relief, and special programs in education, health, and research. We welcome your involvement as program participants, volunteers, and donors. There are many ways to contribute to DREF. Be sure to follow us on social media and our website to stay informed. Thank you for your support as we continue to create possibilities and improve lives.
DREF is committed to advancing its mission through charitable and educational programming that benefits African American women and our families. Let us move forward together to align advocacy and action to create possibilities and improve lives.
Now, I don't care about upsetting people because, I don't like people. I love them, but I don't want liking people to get in the way of loving them. Because if I like you too much, I might not tell you the truth. But if I love you, I'm always going to give it to you real.
Let's just deal with the truth. First of all, everybody who's running around broke, talking about you don't spend no money on nothing, you're lying to yourself. The money is going somewhere.
But what about using some of your hard-earned money to treat yourself?
I tell women, if you go into the beauty shop every week, that's $50 a week, that's $2,600 a year, get you a ponytail. It's $12.99. You'll be rich. Bankruptcy, foreclosure, I done wrote a bad check, this, that, and the other. Honey, don't come in here with no excuses.
We are joined by author and financial expert, Dr. Lynn Richardson, along with rapper and author, MC Light. They are here to tell us and share details on their book, Your Man and Your Money.
I generally do not advise that couples, even when they're married, buy things together. Because if you buy everything together and you have a financial setback, then everybody's credit gets ruined. Everybody goes down.
So here to help us figure out the budget for our big day is celebrity financial coach Lynn Richardson. Welcome, Lynn.
The most expensive thing is either the dress or the people.
Oh, well, you have to wear the dress.
Yeah.
I guess you got to have the dress.
People? What are you trying to say?
Here's the deal. The people cost money because they want to eat.
They want to eat.
I know you might have your eyes on a hot new pair of shoes, but if you file your taxes properly, you might just be able to pay off those credit card bills, build a legacy for your family, and get those shoes.
Wealthy people don't take pride in how much money they spend. They take pride and build legacy based on how much money they keep. Consider a business owner's policy, a straightforward package of coverages designed for the many sides of your business, so you can be sure everything you've worked so hard to build is protected. Contact your local Nationwide agent or log on to learn more.
How much do you spend each day on a cup of coffee? Think about it. It adds up fast. And before you know it, you spent more money on caramel lattes than you put in your savings account the whole year. I kept finding myself in a feast to famine situation. I'd have a whole lot of money, then I'd have no money because I didn't believe in budgets. I thought budgets were for poor people. Honey, I was crazy as all get out. Do you understand me?
Why are we not wealthy? Why aren't we wealthy? It's because we have not tapped into our own power. So the first thing that we have to do as a sister in business is realize that we have to spend less money than we make.
My dream was to help other people achieve their dreams.
There is not an aspect of my life that has not changed due to the presence of my sister, Lynn Richardson. Because of her presence, everything has changed for me. Last year I could say we sort of quadrupled our income. This year, I'm sort of scared because it comes with bonuses for her.
I finally got my money right, and now I want to help others get theirs right too.
For just $67, you can make as many videos as you want.
Good
and you never need to
evening,
pick up a
and
camera or
welcome
use
to the
any fancy
Delta
editing
Research and
software.
Educational
With Doodly, you
Foundation's
drag, you
webinar
drop.
series entitled Empowering Families Through Financial Health and Wellness. I am Carla Green, Executive Director for DREF, and we are excited about this opportunity to educate and inspire each of you on how to achieve your financial goals. Are you ready to take this life-changing journey with us? We have worked tenaciously to impart information that will empower you to become a better steward of your hard-earned income. Please be mindful that it is never too late to understand the importance of being knowledgeable about how money and finances affect you. This 10-week webinar series offered by DREF is designed to educate you on managing your finances and understanding fundamental principles of money, credit, budgeting, investing, and more. Our ultimate goal is not only to help you gain a clearer understanding of financial concepts, but also help you understand how to apply those concepts to your overall life goals. Simply stated, learn how to take care of your money and it will take care of you. Throughout this series, we will offer incentives designed to help you achieve your financial goals. Now, without further ado, it is with great honor that I introduce to you our distinguished presenter, Dr. Lynn Richardson, an author, certified chaplain, licensed financial professional and real estate broker, certified loan originator, celebrity financial coach, and entertainment executive. Dr. Richardson has worked with diverse populations, from helping single parents achieve their financial goals to collaborating with millionaires. Kelly Price, Faith Evans, Erica Campbell, MC Light, and Russell Simmons are just a few of the celebrities she has worked with. Dr. Richardson has authored a plethora of books that have been noted throughout the nation for teaching others how to achieve wealth and grow their money. She has appeared regularly on the Good Morning America show and other national news and radio broadcasts. She is also the host of the Millionaires Roundtable. Dr. Lynn Richardson is a wife and mom who resides with her family in Southern California. And last but not least, she is a proud member of my illustrious sisterhood, Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. Please get comfortable, take good notes, and let's all take this journey together. Buckle up and get ready for an incredible ride with DREF and Dr. Lynn Richardson. And thanks again for tuning in.
Thank you so much. Thank you, DREF. Thank you to all who have worked very hard to be here. I am so excited about this series, Empowering Families Through Financial Health and Wellness. Thank you to Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. Thank you to our sponsor, Toyota. And really, thank you to each and every one of you for showing up for yourself again. This series, I believe, will empower you, inspire you, encourage you, help you hit the reset button. So I am encouraging you to get all that you can. And I am encouraging you to take lots and lots of notes because we have a lot to get through. So let's get started. My screen should be sharing now. And so we're going to continue to move on. Now, before we get started, I'd like to just go back through the itinerary that we have over the next several weeks. If you've missed a session, you get to go back and see what you missed. I highly, highly encourage you to go back to the previous session because each session will build upon the next session. So last week we dealt with spending less money. And this week we are dealing with the one that everybody has been waiting for, getting more money. So I'd first like to just review very quickly. And before we get started, before you start taking notes, I'd like to share this important tip with you. It is much more important for you to listen than it is for you to write. I repeat, it is much more important for you to listen and take it all in than for you to write. If I slow down long enough for you to write, then I won't get through the content that's going to help you to change your life. So the good news is you'll be able to watch this session again. So even if you miss something, on the screen, then guess what? You'll be able to go back and review it again. One of the things that people say a lot about getting their money straight and going to the next level financially, they say, Lynn, this is hard work. I say, so is being broke. Right? So which hard work are we going to do? We're going to do the hard work of believing in ourselves, pouring into ourselves, empowering our futures, building our communities. And sometimes, many times, that takes listening to what you heard, listening to it again, writing notes. Have you ever gone to a movie, watched that movie, thought that movie was extremely great, but then for some reason you watched it again, or you went back with another group of friends or family members and you say to yourself, I didn't see that the last time. I didn't get that meaning the last time. Well, guess what? It's the same thing about your financial future. So I'm encouraging you to get all that you can, but don't worry if we move just a bit fast in the pace in order to get to it all. So I'd like to redefine, I'd like to remind us, I'd like us to recommit to what wellness really is. According to Merriam-Webster, wellness is the quality or state of being in good health, especially as an actively sought goal. According to Pfizer, wellness is the act of practicing healthy habits on a daily basis. What are you going to do during this series on a daily basis to attain better physical and mental health outcomes so that instead of surviving, you are actually thriving? The Global Wellness Institute defines wellness as the active pursuit. So not only are you practicing, but you are pursuing the active pursuit of activities, choices, and lifestyles that lead to a state of holistic health. And let me tell you what that pursuit means. That pursuit means even with you, when you're with your family, even when you're with your friends, even when you are with people that you thought you wanted to impress, even when you go out, even when you decide to take yourself on a shopping spree, all of those times are opportunities for you to be in the active pursuit of activities, choices, and lifestyles that lead to a state of holistic health. In order to understand the significance of financial wellness, it's important to understand how the lack of it is linked to our overall health. So this week, we're going to talk about getting more money. Last week, we talked about spending less money. This week, we're focusing on getting more money. Let's look at the money illnesses related to having only one income stream. Anxiety. If you are concerned about your job continuing, if you are concerned about a strike happening, let's look at the economy, the world around us recently, in the past, and even in the future. Who's striking now? Everybody is striking. Some of the industries that literally guide how the world operates and sees itself are on strike right now. There have been actors who have been on strike. There have been writers who've been on strike. There have been automobile industries that have been on strike. And I even saw a group that's going on strike soon, and it made me think, wait a minute, who else is going on strike? Is the air going on strike? Come on now, air. We need you to keep working, right? So whenever there is a strike, whenever there is a stoppage, whether it's for your rights, whether you are picketing or on the sidelines, then it can cause anxiety. And yes, that anxiety contributes to stress, and stress contributes to physical debilitations that we do not want to encounter. It also contributes to depression, unclear thoughts and confusion, lack of forward movement. Have you ever wondered why you're still in the same place today that you were 3 years ago? Are you in the same place today that you were in 5 years ago, 6 years ago? Are you in the same place today that you were 2 or 3 weeks ago, saying to yourself, hey, I'm going to do something different? I got inspired. I heard a word from the pastor. I saw something on social media, but then you wake up day after day. guess what? This anxiety and this stress really can contribute to lack of forward movement. What about strained relationships? Are you snappy? Are you tired? Are you irritable? Are you disconnected? Are you disassociated? What about repressed creativity? Are you finding that in one area of your life where you used to be able to think of new things all the time, you can't think of anything new at all? Are you wondering why on your job you used to be excited and you could think about new problems, but you can't think about any problem at all? Sometimes it's because we're being stifled by the stress, the anxiety, and the mere darkness associated with having only one income stream. What about uncertainty? Certainly, if there is only one stream of income, then we may be plagued with uncertainty. How am I going to pay my bills? How am I going to take care of my loved ones? How am I going to put that child through college? How am I going to continue to move forward with my gifts and my goals and my dreams with only one stream of income? Well, guess what? The harvest is here. The time is now, and it is your season to win. So again, in review, we talked about stair step number 1, spending less money. And I'm going to go over this very quickly. The first 10% of every dollar you get, you would tithe or save. You would tithe or give. Let me repeat that. The first 10% of every dollar you get, you would tithe or give. We talked about that being someplace in your heart. If it's to your church, if it's to an organization, if it's to a nonprofit, if it's to a community, if it's an amount that you set aside in your budget to feed the homeless or to be able to respond to the needs of those family members and friends who call you and ask you, hey, I'm in an emergency, whatever that means for you. For me, tithing and giving gave me the discipline to know what to do with the rest of my money. The next 10% is for saving. That saving can be in a 401k, a retirement plan, a high yield savings account. And what I want you to know, what I've shared, this is for me, Inc. You've got to get involved in looking at yourself as a business, because guess what? Business Inc., they pay themselves first. They pay themselves first so they can take care of the shareholders, the CEO, and all of those other corporate entities and elements. And you too want to be in the business of paying you. That's right, me Inc. Say it to yourself, me Inc. I am the business that I am going to contribute to from this day going forward. The next 30% is for incidentals. It's on a separate debit card or cash. And this is to help you avoid a spending addiction. A spending addiction, remember I told you I had one? It's what you have when you go to the grocery store for toothpaste and walk out with $179.47 worth of stuff you don't need, talking about it was on sale and it was not on sale for you. Yes, that may have happened to many of us. And so this is going to help you avoid that. And then the remaining 50% stays in your checking account for your bills. This is going to be separate so that you are not tempted to overspend in the areas where you don't have any additional money. Okay. So you're going to be disciplined in this particular area, and you're going to want to know what it's going to take. Now, when you're looking at this 50%, you may have more than enough money. Okay. That's not a license to go buy a whole bunch of stuff. Now you may want to commit to paying off that debt. You may want to commit to saving for retirement, saving for Christmas, saving for a vacation. You want to make sure that you are using those dollars wisely. You may even want to commit to taking some of that money to creating an income stream for me Inc. If you don't have enough money, then you're going to subtract. That's what we talked about last week. You're going to subtract what? Anything that gets in the way of your peace, anything that gets in the way of truth. Why? Because 1 + 1 = 2. And if your stuff adds up to 10, it'll never get into 2. So we're going to forget what other people think. Remember, rich people stay rich because they act poor. Poor people stay poor because they act rich. And poor people stay poor acting rich in front of other poor people, which we really don't want to do. So we're going to forget what other people think. And we are going to now start focusing on getting more money with me Inc. So stair step number 2, get more money. Why? Because one stream of income is hazardous to your wealth. Let me repeat. One stream of income is hazardous, not only to your wealth, but also to your mental health, your emotional health, your spiritual health, your relationship health. and yes, even your physical health. It is hazardous to your overall wealth. If you are only depending on one stream of income, then that may cause you to be faced with some difficult choices at one time or another in your life. And I'm going to give you some examples of that in just a few. But let me talk to you first about understanding capitalism versus socialism. In a capitalistic society where we live in the United States of America, at least that's what it's supposed to be, it simply means that there's enough out here for everyone. And if you're able to create a product, a good, or a service, you're able to collect as much income as you'd like. There is no limit to what you can get. In a socialistic society, a very basic example is that there are limits to what you can do, and everybody gets to share a piece of the pie. So if the pie is 100%, you're only allowed to get 10% of it, and everybody has to get their fair share of that piece of pie. So in a capitalistic society, when it is stated that you can go out and get as much as you like, you can be as creative as you like, you can work as hard as you like, you can go into many income streams as you like, you can learn as much as you like, you can delve into as many areas as you like, then it behooves you to have more than one stream of income. I'm going to talk to you about some passive income streams. What is a passive income stream? Passive income streams represents money that comes in without you going out to get it. Now I want you to just think about that for one moment. Are you okay with money coming in without you going out to get it? Are you okay with your money working harder for you than you can ever work for it? Are you okay with money being available to you without you having to think about it? And in the blink, you've got more and more of it coming. And it doesn't matter if it's 1 penny, 1 dime, $1, $10, $100, or $1,000. Because the truth about money is there's something called compound interest. And that means that money begins to grow faster than you can go out and earn it. So passive income streams, money that comes in without you going out to get it. So we're going to talk today about getting more money. And I'm specifically talking about focusing on building multiple streams of income. Let me give you a few pointers just to start. Everybody needs a home-based business that operates as a sole proprietorship. Let me repeat, everybody needs a home-based business. Everybody needs something that you can tap into, that you can do to provide a needed skill or service to others. Everybody needs a home-based business. I remember teaching this course at church. I remember teaching it in Bible study. In one of my books, Living Beyond Check to Monday, A Spiritual Path to Wealth and Prosperity, I talk about how earning additional streams of income is something that was here even during the biblical times. The virtuous woman of Proverbs had at least 9 streams of income. And I remember a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful elderly woman in my church, a senior citizen. I call her a global senior citizen. And she said, well, Lynn, I'm 78 years old. What can I do? And I said, sister, what did you do when you were earning income? And she looked ashamed. She looked bashful. She looked down. And she said, you know, the only thing I did was clean homes for other people. I said, the only thing you did? I said, honey, Grandma B, she cleaned homes for other people. So let me tell you what you can do as a home-based business. I said, you can help these young mothers like me. Because see, I was married with 3 children. I still am married. At the time I was married with 3 children, multiple streams of income. I was a master of everything and trying to work them all. And guess what? I didn't have the time to clean my entire house every single weekend, do all the dishes, cook all the food, tell all the kids what to do, and so on and so forth. I said, so you can go into a business as a household manager. You can teach young mothers or single fathers or young families. You can teach them how to organize their household. She said, yes, because when I go into the house, I tell the kids what to do. I tell the parents what to do. I tell them where things are, and I make their lives easier. And I said, yes, you can do that. And so I saw her light up. I saw her get some energy. I saw her becoming empowered by her passion. And I want you to become empowered by your passion. And one of the things about your passion, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about it later. It may not be the thing that makes you happy, but it is the thing that makes you healthy. It may not be the thing that everybody says is so glorious and glamorous, but it is the thing that gives God glory, and it is the thing that brings you glory. So your passion and your purpose and your skill and your talent and your gift is something that you should always be thinking about. Why? Because everybody is good at something. Everybody has something that they do better than anybody else in this world. Everybody has something that they do better than anybody else in this world for the community that you are called to. There are many, many, many financial speakers. There are many, many people who do financial empowerment. There are many, many experts and financial experts. But I am the Medea of money. I am the one who speaks to the people who need to hear something that may make them say ouch or amen. And in the beginning, I used to be bashful about that. In the beginning, I wanted to be more conservative. I wanted to be more, collegiate and authoritative. And, I wanted to be, but that didn't work for me. I remember trying it out early in my career. My celebrity friends wanted me to do this TV show. And so I was very polite and I was very respectful and I was very subdued. And my children were looking like, who is that? Because you are the mother who goes off. You don't believe in timeout. You think about time. How about I take time out to whoop that behind? Oh, yes. Right. So when I started to be myself, more people became attracted to me. More people became attracted to the message. Why? Because I was created for them and you were created for someone. So everybody needs a home-based business that operates as a sole proprietorship. And I'll tell you more about why in just a little bit. You can still have an LLC or a corporation. So some of you may be thinking, Lynn, I have another business, but I have an LLC. I have a corporation. I have a partnership. I'm not saying to get rid of those. I am saying that you are also going to need a sole proprietorship in addition to your other businesses. Why? Because one stream of income is hazardous to your wealth. Okay. I said that already. So we're going to have to create multiple income streams. And one of them is going to be a sole proprietorship. One of the reasons it's going to be a sole proprietorship because it's going to allow you to do what I'm going to talk about next week, and that is getting your money back. Okay? It's very, very important. One, to spend less money. Two, to get more money. But even when you spend money, you should be asking yourself, how can I get it back? Is this a tax write-off? If it's not a tax write-off, how can I put it into another column so that it can become a tax write-off? So I want you to put a pin on that. I'm not going to deal with that this week, but I want you to think and I want you to remember, Dr. Lynn said, I need to learn how to get my money back. And the way you do that is by making sure one of your streams of income is a sole proprietorship. The next thing I want you to think about when it comes to building streams of income, I want you to use corporate sense, SENSE. What do I mean by that? What I mean by that is this: do not quit your job. If you have a corporate job, keep your corporate job. If it is not completely making you ill, if it's not a toxic environment, if it is not unsafe, then keep your corporate job. Keep your 401k, keep your benefits, keep your health insurance, keep all those things. I hear so many people all the time say, Lynn, I want to be like you. I want to start my own business. Yes, I quit my corporate job, but let me tell you, I suffered. Okay, I won in the end, but it is the road less traveled. And so I am encouraging you to keep your job, but use corporate sense. That means have integrity. And what I mean by that is do not use corporate sense, CENTS. Do not use the money and the resources at your corporate job to fund your side business. Do not use the resources at your corporate job to fund your side business resources. Do not use your corporate intellectual property to get yourself into a situation where you have a conflict of interest. It is very important. I remember early on in my business, one of my assistants, she had a corporate job And I was very, very supportive of her having a corporate job. And she had to leave her corporate job at the end of the workday, and she had to come work for me at an event that we were doing. And I needed her to make some copies. And so she brought hundreds of copies that she had made at her corporate job. And this is what I said to her: please don't ever do that again. Do not use that copier at your corporate job and bring them to your side gig with me. Let me tell you why. Because the golden rule says you are to treat people how you want to be treated. And I believe as you are on this path to getting more money and creating additional streams of income, it is your job to ensure that you would treat someone else's business like you would want someone to treat your own. Now, just imagine you're starting out in your business. Would you want one of your employees or one of your contractors or one of your vendors, would you want them taking the paper that you bought for your business and giving it to someone else? Absolutely not. So yes, use corporate sense, SENSE, but do not use, abuse, or violate corporate sense, CENTS. And the last thing I want to tell you before we go on into these streams of income, I want to talk to you about building your symphony. One of my books is called The Symphony, a guide to creating and balancing multiple streams of income. And let me explain to you why I look at you, I look at each of you as a business, you Inc., me Inc., we Inc., everybody Inc., okay? But I also look at you as having multiple streams of income. Let's take a look at Oprah. Oprah is Oprah Inc., but within Oprah Inc., at one point she had a talk show, she had a magazine, she had speaking events, she had books, she had all these different things that contributed to this symphony called Oprah. So you too are a symphony. And let me explain to you why I call it a symphony. If you go to the orchestra, there are many different instruments. There's the piano, there's the organ, there's the flute, there's the bass, there's the drum. There's all these different instruments. And if these instruments just play out of order at any time, it's not going to sound good. But if each instrument comes in at the time that the director says to come in, 1, here's the flute, 2, here's the organ, 3, here's the bass, 4, here's the drum. It all makes one beautiful sound. And so in your symphony, you may have multiple streams of income. You may have multiple ideas. You may have multiple instruments. And I'm going to call them income-ments. I want you to write that down. Income-ments. Income-ments are businesses that make money. And it's spelled exactly how it sounds. INCOMEMENTS. And when you have one increment, and then you add another increment, and then you have another increment, then you too will have a symphony just like the orchestra. So that's what we want to focus on. Now, it's going to take work to get there, but I've got a template for you. I've got a platform for you to be able to work out these increments, and we're going to take it one step at a time. But before we get to that, let's start to think about what getting more money really means. What getting more money really means. One stream of income is hazardous to your wealth. Me Inc. needs more siblings. I want you to say that to yourself. Me Inc. needs more siblings. Now, let me tell you why I came up with this theory. I'm married with 3 children. Before I had 3 children, I wanted 8. Can you believe it? I wanted a lot of children because in my mind, the whole idea of having many children was, 1, having a lot of people to come visit me when I got too old to visit myself. Okay. I'd have a child over here. I'd have one over there, and I'd have all these people coming to my house because when I was growing up, I had lots and lots of cousins, and my paternal grandmother, she had lots of children. And it was always so much fun thinking about who was going to come to the family's Christmas gathering or to the Thanksgiving gathering. And so before I had 1 child, I wanted 8. Okay. Now, by the time I had 1, I was like, oh boy. Well, the other reason why I wanted more siblings or I wanted more children is because what happened if 1 child just moved away to Australia? You know what? Then I'd have 7 left. What if one child decided to go to the moon? Then I'd have 6 left. What if I didn't like one child? You know, then I'd have 5 or 6 left, and so on and so forth. So the point is, I'd have options, right? So if one of them just went away and one of them just went to another career, or the other one didn't like me, or I didn't like it or her or him, then guess what? You know, I say that and it's funny, but it's the truth, right? You don't necessarily get along with everybody all the time. And sometimes it could be somebody that you're kin to. Now, I'm so happy and blessed that I love all my children and they come around and we go around each other, and it's a beautiful thing. But the truth is, you start to think about things like that. Well, guess what? Me Inc. is exactly the same. What if one industry goes out of business? What if your job decides to go on strike? One of the things that I shared when I talked about spending less money is that we were taught to go to school, get a good education, get a good job, go to church on Sunday, wear clean underwear in case you get hit by a bus, right? All those things. And that one day we'd be able to retire into the sunset. But that is not true today. Most people will not retire from the same job that they started working at for over a 30-year period. And most people will go into multiple different jobs. And even those jobs that were once considered safe, those factory jobs. In factories, people are being replaced by computers. In parking garages, there was a time when you'd go into a parking garage and there were parking attendants everywhere. Now, over the past 20 years, those parking attendants have been replaced. In some teaching environments, teachers are being replaced. And so you've got to be aware and you've got to beware that your industry either may not last or there may be an industry event that impacts you. So Me Inc. needs more siblings. Now, let's talk about one of the areas of income. This E is in red because the first area, if you've ever heard of the cash flow quadrant, your income falls into one of 4 categories. The first category is E, for employee. It means you work for someone else. Someone has created a system and they have offered you money in exchange for your time. So you exchange time for money. You give them 4 hours, they give you X dollars. You give them 10 hours, they give you X dollars. You give them 100 hours, they give you X dollars. You exchange time for money. There are some limitations with this. The first thing is the law of diminishing returns. I want you to think about this. This is an economic concept, the law of diminishing returns. And the law of diminishing returns essentially says this: the more time you give, the less dollar you get per hour given. The more time you give, the less value you get per dollar given. Let me repeat. The more time you give, the less value you get per dollar given. Okay? The more time you give, the less value you get per dollar given. So let me give you an example of this. You work 40 hours a week and you make $1,000. What happens if you work 80 hours a week? You may make $2,000, but now your time is compromised. Your energy is compromised. The rest of your life, your freedom is compromised. What happens if you work 40 hours a week and you make $1,000? You work 80 hours a week, you make $2,000, and you work 120 hours a week, you make $3,000. By the time you work 120 hours a week, that $3,000 may not have the value. You're going to be overworked. You're going to feel underpaid. You're going to feel underutilized. And the law of diminishing returns quickly sets in because now your value has been diminished. Because the quality of your work for the first 40 hours is not the same as the quality of the work for the 120 hours. All right. So the law of diminishing returns at some point begins to kick in. Yes, you can work extra hours, but it's going to compromise your energy. And I want you to remember this. Energy is like money in the bank. Once you spend it, it's gone. Energy is like money in the bank. Once you spend it, it's gone. You don't just get it back. And sometimes it impacts your health, it impacts your relationships, it impacts your mental status, it impacts your wealth. It also leads to burnout. I have burned out so many times in my life, I can't even begin to tell you. And burnout is associated with lack of enthusiasm, confusion, depression, sometimes weight loss, sometimes weight gain. So yes, you want to work a job, but you want to be careful about the law of diminishing returns. This particular area, although it provides some stability because you work for someone else and they're going to provide a paycheck after you give them time, it also has the least amount of flexibility. You have X amount of sick days. You have X amount of vacation days. If you want to take 4 weeks of vacation, but you've only accrued 2, well, guess what? That's the exchange. Okay. So it's got the least amount of flexibilities. But remember, there is some value to having an employee. So I am not telling everybody to quit your job. As a matter of fact, I'm telling you to keep your job. And I am telling you to give that job the best that you have right now. I often say, God is not promoting powders. You can write that down. God is not promoting powders. Think about kindergarten. All the children sitting in the circle, and the teacher is going to bless the child that's smiling, that's cooperative, that's raising their hand. The teacher is going to punish the child that's rolling all over, not paying attention, not doing what they're supposed to do. And when we are at a job, it is a gift. When we are at a job, it is a blessing. When we are at a job, it is an opportunity to earn the income necessary to take care of our bills. I'm going to be very, very honest with you. One of the things that gives me the most pleasure, one of the things that gives me the greatest joy is when I see anyone working. Today, I went to the airport to get on a flight. My flight was delayed by 2 hours. I ended up turning around, coming back home. My flight is going to have to leave out tomorrow. Along that path, I met the gate agent. I was so happy that the gate agent had a job. I met the person who checks my bags. I was so happy that that person had a job. The person who was taking the garbage away. I was so happy that that person had a job. Every time I see someone working, I see someone who's blessed. So while the employee area of your income stream may have the least amount of flexibility, I want you to take the blessing for what it is and honor it and be the best in it. Do the best you can where you are with what you have right now. Let's go to the next section of the income quadrant. If you've ever seen the cash flow quadrant, and I'm going to share that with you later in an upcoming homework assignment. The first area was E for employee. The second area is S for self-employed. This means you work for yourself. You own your business, which is you. Okay? You work for yourself. You own your business, which is you. This is truly Me Inc. live and in living color. It means you have unlimited time and unlimited income. So you can work 4 hours a day in your business as a tutor. You can work 4 hours a day in your business braiding hair. You can work 4 hours in your day in your business as a consultant. You can work 4 hours a day in your business driving Uber. You can work 4 hours a day in your business doing whatever it is you do. But you can also work 8. You can also work 10. You can also work 20. You have unlimited time and you have unlimited income. Now, what I also want you to be aware of with your self-employed is you have increased revenue, but you still face the law of diminishing returns. And let me explain to you why. Because you are the only one in your business, and you are the only one who can usually do what you do in your business. If you are a speaker, you can't put somebody else on stage. If you are a teacher, you can't put somebody else up there to teach. If you are the braider, you may be able to hire somebody to finish it off, but you have to start it. You are the one who has to do the work. You are the one who has to show up. And while there's a great amount of income potential in that, and that income potential can help you get to another stage in your financial and in your business goals, you also have to remember that you have some degree of flexibility, but here's the deal. You get to work whatever 100 hours a week you want. Okay? I am laughing, but very serious. During the pandemic, when everybody was at home, and I mean, I was doing work that I loved, but New Wealth University expanded across the globe, and I found myself working literally sometimes 20 hours a day. All right? Laughing, but very serious. And in the beginning, I was having fun. And somewhere along the middle, I said, oh my goodness, I need a break. But I'm the one who had to teach. Now, I was able to turn it into this next area. I'm going to show you what a business is. But in the beginning, it was all me. I still say everyone needs that one self-employed area, something that you can do. Let me give you an example. If I was one of the people on strike today, and thank God I am not, I would have figured out a way to legally and ethically not cross the picket line, but pick up my own income sign. Okay? I'm not going to cross the picket line, but I'm going to pick up my own income sign. So if the teachers are striking, that doesn't mean I can't do my tutoring business on the side. If the automobile workers are striking, that doesn't mean I can't, if I'm a mechanic, I can't do some mechanic work on the side in my neighborhood, teach a class, do some other things. I'm going to talk to you about 12 different income streams that you may not have thought about. But I'm going to do something that where I can bring money in. And one of the things that's very, very important about this, because one of the things people say to me all the time, they say, well, Lynn, I don't have enough time for another stream of income. Well, guess what? If you're striking, you have some time now. If they lay you off, you've got some time now. If you've got, if your hours have been reduced, you've got some time now. So have this self-employed area of your income ready when it's time to go. The next area in the cash flow quadrant. So you need cash flow coming from each area. The first one was E for employee. The second was S for self-employed, S for self-employed. The next one is B for business. Now, remember, as the employee, essentially, you don't own the business. In many ways, the business owns you. They own your time. They tell you when to come, when to go, and they give you money in exchange for time. And E and S for self-employed, you own the business, which is you. You own the whole thing, but guess what? It's all on you. In a business, you now own a system. Think about a franchise. Think about McDonald's. Think about Burger King. Think about Dunkin' Donuts. Think about a system where you create a process that you can now duplicate. And now you get to hire people. And now you leverage other people's time for money. So instead of you being the one to do all the work, you have now shared your template, your intellectual property, you've shared your protocols, and you've put them into a system that other people can duplicate. And now you don't just do that thing one time when you do it 1,000 times when 1,000 people do it. You do it 1,000,000 times when 1,000,000 people do it. You do it 10 million times when 10 million people do it. And that's where income starts to come in without you necessarily having to work directly for that money. Okay. And this requires a great deal of responsibility. Yes, it comes with increased revenue. And this is where the law of diminishing returns should be reversed. You should actually start scaling your business. Scaling means if I can make one pancake, what business can I put in place to make 100 or 1,000 or 1,000,000? Scaling means if I can teach a class to 10 people, what can I do to teach it to 100 people, 1,000 people, 1,000,000 people? Scaling means if I can create one franchise, what can I do to create 10 or 100 or 1,000? This is called the tipping point. It's when your gift begins to overflow. And there are systems that you must follow in order for that to happen. Now, when you have a business, there is a higher degree of flexibility. In several of my businesses, I just show up on a call once a week. I've delegated the tasks to many other people, and they carry out those tasks. And I inspect what I expect. I share the vision, and they carry it out. But it's also a high degree of responsibility. To whom much is given, much is required. For some of those businesses, it means I'm responsible to a board of directors. The board of directors may have made an investment. They want to see what's taking place with their investment. I've got to give a report to the shareholders. And some of those businesses, it may mean I am now going to put my company on the New York Stock Exchange, and I'm going to raise money publicly. And now I have responsibilities to FINRA, to the Securities Exchange Commission. I've got responsibilities to others, but also I've got responsibilities to people. I've got responsibilities to the people who I employ. Let me tell you the number one thing that you're going to need on this path. If you have an entrepreneurial spirit, if you want more streams of income, you have to remember that the Bible says the harvest is plentiful, but the laborers are few. It doesn't say the ideas are few. It doesn't say the money is few. It doesn't say the resources are few. It says the laborers are few. So if you want a great business, if you want multiple streams of income, if you want to build a legacy that you can pass for generations, then make sure you are investing in your people and making them as good, if not better than you, empowering them, giving them the opportunity to grow. Your people is the greatest extension of your purpose and your passion. Now, the last area that we're going to talk about in terms of income streams is investments. This means you have stake in systems that generate cash flow. Okay, so maybe I don't necessarily own a McDonald's. I don't own a McDonald's franchise. I don't own a New Wealth University franchise, but I invest in the stock. And as the stock price goes up, I generate cash flow. Every time that stock price goes up, my investment goes up. Every time that company has a profit, I earn dividends. And your investments are a substantial way for you to have income that you will have for the rest of your life, and that you will also be able to pass on in your trust to your children, to your heirs, to your spouse, to your significant other, your loved one, your parents, and so on and so forth. I'm going to talk about that in the future when I talk about making your money grow. Okay. So I know you have many, many questions because I've introduced lots of things here today, but today I'm giving you the template for getting more money. Where does it all come from? And the last place is I, investment. First was E, employee. Second was S for self-employment. The third was B for business. And now it's I for investment. So you have stake in systems that generate cash flow on its own. This comes from investment income. This comes from real estate income. So if you own real estate, I'm going to say this to all the people who have college students. If you buy a piece of property for your college student to move into and then rent out the other rooms, you are going to generate cash flow. You're going to generate cash flow that is an income, and you're also going to generate equity as the real estate value increases. It's a great way to reduce your tuition expense, your student loan expense, eliminate your housing expense, and also create investment income. I'm going to talk about that in the future when we talk about real estate. But that's one way. If you live someplace, you can decide to move into a 3-unit building, live in 1 unit, rent out the other 2 units, let that unit pay for the mortgage payment, and let the other unit add to your cash flow. This is the most flexibility. It requires the greatest deal of protection and also education. Knowledge is not power until it is put into action. And this is where you must continue to get knowledge so you know what action to take. And you get to pass this kind of income on for generational wealth. Okay? We're going to take a break just shortly, but I'm going to get you through these 12 streams of income. So I'm going to go a little bit over. Our Q&A will be about 10 minutes shorter, but it's important for us to get through these next areas. I promised you 12 streams of income. So let's talk about those income streams. The first area of income you may want to think about is from consulting. Everybody can be a consultant. And my recommendation is that you be a consultant doing something that is low risk. Now, you cannot consult fixing people's teeth as a dentist. You need to actually go get a dental license, a degree, go to school. You cannot consult passing out pharmaceuticals. You need licenses for that. But you can consult for teaching. You can consult to braid hair. You can consult for image consulting. You can consult to teach anybody how to do something that you are already skilled at. You may want to think about a membership. What do you do well that you can deliver to more than 2 people at a time, more than 10 people at a time? Is it some kind of an online training? Is it some kind of class at a studio? Is it some kind of group session? You can then create memberships, and that membership will entitle your clients to either log in or come in as many times as they want. And guess what? This is residual income because they're going to pay a monthly membership and they will subscribe. Subscription memberships are one of the best ways to create not only self-employment income, but repeat income. Okay. I'm also going to talk to you about intellectual property. Some of you are writers. Some of you are creators. Some of you have visual gifts. Do you know that your writing and your creating can be used in the music industry? One of the things I often say is rich people stay rich because they act poor, and poor people stay poor because they act rich. Well, let me tell you this. Most rich people aren't famous, and most famous people aren't rich. The people that you see in front of the camera typically make the least amount of money. Let me repeat. The people that you see in front of the camera often make the least amount of money. When I was executive producer of our first big TV show, as an executive producer, I'm a creator, I'm a writer, I am an investor, I'm behind the scenes. I make a larger check than the actors that are on the screen. So if you are a writer, you can write scripts, you can write songs, you can remember back in the day, pop, pop, plop, plop, fizz, fizz. Oh, what a relief it is. My baloney has a first name. It's, you know, the rest. Guess what? Even the phone number, the most famous phone number in history, what 588-2300 Empire, right? Those are jingles. Somebody wrote that and somebody trademarked that. And somebody is still earning income for that. Some of you are poets. Your poetry can be music. Your poetry can go into theater. Your poetry can go into film. Your poetry can go into television. You just have to tap into that area. And all of that is your intellectual property, which you want to copyright and or trademark. And I'll talk to you about that in a future session. Okay? So those are 3 income streams. Now let's go into your side hustle, your corporate side hustle. Do you do HR by day? Well, maybe you can do resumes by night. Are you a nurse by day? Maybe you can teach self-care by night. If you do anything in the daytime or the nighttime, if you are a mechanic by day, can you teach mechanic students at the community college? There are so many things you could do. And let me tell you something. Not having enough time is not an excuse. Let me repeat. Not having enough time is not an excuse. None of us have enough time. You've got to make the time. You've got to break through. You've got to eliminate some of the repeat things. You've got to teach your children how to fix their own cereal for breakfast, okay? You've got to tell your significant other, hey, I need you to wash the dishes too. You've got to tell somebody, you've got to delegate so you can elevate. Social media is an income stream. If you have a proper social media strategy, there are people posting videos on YouTube making $20,000, $50,000 per video. There are people making $2, $10 per video. Some say money talks, but I say money walks away from you quietly. You don't know where it went. Okay. All right. So if money talks, then every single one of those dollars are going to speak into your life. Each one of those dollars are going to speak into your bank account. So don't discount the value of a dollar adding up and multiplying. What about a podcast, an audio podcast or video podcast? You getting on alone or with a guest. You never know what's going to go viral. You never know what's going to inspire somebody. You never know what's going to go to the next level. Here's some additional income streams: driving for Uber or rideshare or Lyft or any of those things, or better yet, starting your own driving business. Start your own car service. Start your own company. Carpool children to their activities. Babysitting, Uber, gardening, all of those kinds of things that you can do. Services that people need. Uber is just an example. Network marketing. Some of you are good at businesses like Mary Kay. Some of you are good at businesses where you buy into a system and you share that with others. New Wealth University it's not a network marketing component, but if you become an ambassador, then you get to share the link and earn a commission. What system can you buy into that someone else has created that you can now share with others and earn a commission? I'm going to tell you the thing that really elevated me to a whole nother level is watching Madam C.J. Walker. And what she was known for is not just being the first African-American self-made millionaire, but she was known for helping other women make more money. She created a hair care line, and she paid her salespeople more than everybody else was, and she broke through. And remember what I talked about, your laborers. The harvest is plentiful, but the laborers are few. When you bring people on into your business, pay them. If you pay cheap, you will not reap. If you pay cheap, you will not reap. So network marketing. I do not believe in illegal practices. I do not believe in illegal schemes. I do not believe in Ponzi schemes. But some network marketing enterprises do have value. Don't discount them. There may be one for you. Now, what about your gift, your skill, your passion? Turn that into an income stream. If there is something that you do so well, if there's something that people always say, you do this better than anybody, and you just discount it. If there's something that you love to do, how can you turn that into an income stream? It can be cooking. It can be cleaning. It can be organizing. I have always talked, and now I make money talking. I have always bossed people around, and I make money being a COO. That's a professional bosser arounder, okay? We are the engine that drives the director that drives the chain. So your gift, your skill, and your passion. And then what about virtual assisting? You can help other people from right where you are. There are virtual assistants, but you're going to have to hone in and improve your writing skills. If you do not do grammar well, go back and take an advanced English class. If you do not know how to edit well, go back and learn the things that you miss. If you want to help people in the area, learn that trade and become a virtual assistant. What about coaching and teaching? What about you? Everybody has something that you can teach someone else, even if it's how to be quiet. Some of you are skilled at teaching mindfulness, yoga, meditation. Some of you are skilled at teaching others how to talk, how to grow, how to live, how to be. Coaching and teaching are great areas where you can create an income stream. And then what about writing a book? Writing a book is an income stream in and of itself through product sales, but it also opens you up to speaking engagements. When you write a book, then you are considered in many cases an expert. So yes, Me Inc. needs more siblings. And you can commit to creating one new income stream for yourself each month based on the examples that you've seen here today. Now, here's what I want you to do. I want you to go back to last week's homework. Last week's homework is the same as this week. Last week's homework, I asked you to complete the 10-10-30-50 worksheet, and I asked you to make adjustments if necessary. I asked you to, if it's the 10-10-20-60, make that adjustment. But what I want you to do is number this third check mark here this week, add your additional, and it should say income. I apologize for that. Add your additional income. And I want you to dream, what would your life look like with the additional income? Is it $500 a month or a week? Is it $1,000 a month or a week or every 2 weeks? Is it 5,000? Is it 10,000? And then I want you to visualize what your 10-10-30-50 now looks like with more income. Speak those things that are not as though they were. Speak what you seek until you see what you say. Write the vision and make it plain so the reader, you can run with it. This is where you go back to what you created. And if you were depressed about it, if you were upset about it, if you felt like you were in money cuffs, well, now is where you get to start taking action. And then what I want you to do is I want you to go and repeat again. Stair step number 2, homework assignment 2 of 2, is to now write the things that you learned here today. Write your feelings, your thoughts with your accountability partners. What stream of income are you what streams of income are you overlooking? What gifts are you overlooking? What piqued your interest? What gave you an aha? Write all of those things down. There are areas in your budgeting journal that allow you to do that. And after you complete this, what you will get in the follow-up, is then you will get the next steps for creating your symphony. Okay? So thank you so much for this. We're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to come back for Q&A.
What great information we have received so far. Good evening, everyone. I am Antoinette Rogers, the Director of Programs for DREF, and I am sure that you are learning a great deal and enjoying, as am I. I do have a few reminders for you, and that is we would like for those of you who have not had the opportunity to register to do so using the Eventbrite link. We will place that link in the chat, and there's also a QR code that you may use if you have seen the flyer. But your registration allows us to stay in touch with you and to email you documents, updates, special announcements, so forth. So we would like for you to register, and that way we can also track so that we can share information as we move forward with this grant-funded program. Also, like to remind you that you are able to view these replays on social media outlets on the following platforms: Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and we are establishing a portal on the DREF website. So you will be able to go back and watch the videos there as well. We will also have worksheets and additional resources uploaded there on the website so that you can get that information. It's now time for us to reveal some winners. We told you had to stay tuned because you never know what might happen. And this is just week 2. We have more weeks of great information. We have some winners, Pamela B. and Iva WB. Please send us your information. We need a mailing address for you and a phone number so that we can confirm and make sure we get your prize to you. This week's prize is a book entitled Starting a Business, Quick Start. How appropriate. I don't know about you, but I've been sitting here thinking about my multiple streams of income. And Dr. Lynn has challenged us all to be visionary, to write down our visions and make them plain. So I know I have some homework, as do you. We hope that you are enjoying this, and we look forward to having you every week. Let us know where you are watching from. Type in the chat your location. We have over 1,000 people here, so we want to know where you are. Back to you, Dr. Lynn.
Okay, here I am. I am back. And I am going to just go and put the slides up again so that everyone can see where we are. I am so excited about all of the questions that are coming in, and I am ready to give you as many answers as I can. And I'd like for you to think of this as your opportunity to dig into my brain. Dig into the gift that God has given me so that you can expand the many gifts that God has given you. I want to remind you of the homework for those who just may have forgotten about it or are joining us this week. There should be a link in the chat if it's not been shared already. Homework assignment last week was to go on and download the 10-10-30-50 budget worksheet and complete that. And now this week, you're going to share, you're going to add your additional income. And then in your budgeting journal, you're going to speak what you seek until you see what you say. You're going to start to write. And it is so important to write what you're feeling right now, today, in this season, because I'm going to tell you, when I went through financial difficulty and I began to write my dreams, I remember the Great Recession of 2008, and I was writing things and writing, and my house was upside down and underwater. Do you know, everything that I wrote came to fruition. There are things happening in my life today that I saw. I don't even know if I believed it, but I saw it and I wrote it. And somehow I kept moving towards it. So thoughts disentangle themselves when they pass through your fingertips. And I want you to make sure you are writing your way to your wealth. Just want to remind you there, these are all the dates. I know that this will also be shared in the replay. So if you don't remember, next week, we're going to talk about getting your money back. And I'm going to tell you, getting your money back is one of the single most important things you can do for your whole entire financial health journey. So make sure you're here for that next week. And so now for questions and answers, and make sure that you join our free group on Facebook at lynnrichardson.org. So I'm happy to now take the first question during our remaining time together. And let's see, is someone going to share the questions? Someone going to read them to me because I can't see the chat. And I know that questions have come in. I just can't see them. So I'm going to wait for the first question.
Can you
and there is no question too small. So any questions? Thank you so much. Okay.
Ready? Can you explain the difference between a sole proprietorship and an LLC?
A sole proprietorship is an entity that you own as an individual. And it means you simply start doing business. So let's say, for example, I want to sell cookies. And today I bake the cookies and I sell them. I don't need to register anything. I don't need to go get an EIN. I don't need to do any of that. And when I sell my cookies and earn money, I am going to report the income on my tax return using my name and my social security number. This is one of the most underutilized areas of business because most people think, hey, I want to start a business. But then they think, I've got to go get a EIN. I've got to do this. I've got to register that. Let me tell you something. You don't have to register anything if you are a sole proprietor. And I have been preaching and teaching this for, I can't tell you how long. And then 2020 came and the pandemic hit. Let me tell you what happened to the people who identified themselves as sole proprietors versus those who did not. I'm going to take my hairstylist. I had one hairstylist. Every time she got paid, I gave her cash. I Zelled it to her. I sent it to her via PayPal or whatever. She took that money and she did not go spend it. She did not go hide it. She took every single penny that she earned. She put it into her bank account. And at the end of the year, she reported all of her income. So when the pandemic hit and the hair salons closed and everybody was on quarantine, and if you were like me, you were scared, nobody was coming to my house and I wasn't going to anybody else's house. She was able to apply for the EIDL loans and the PPP. Why? Because she had a legitimate sole proprietorship just in her name. She, not a salon name, not a business name, just in her name. But my other hairstylists, who every time she got paid, she got the money, then she went and bought some food. She got the money, then she gave the money to the hair man who was coming with the bundles. She got her money, so she didn't have any money to report. And because she didn't have any money to report, the only thing she could wait for was a $400 stimulus check. Now, my salon person, my hairstylist who looked at herself as a sole proprietor, got over $40,000. I repeat, $40,000. My salon, my hairstylist who did not look at herself as a sole proprietor, who just got her money and just spent it and did not run her sole proprietorship like a business with the intent of making a profit, she had to wait for a $400 stimulus check. That's a sole proprietor. Now, an LLC, a single member LLC, means that you have decided to elevate your sole proprietorship and become an entity. You want to get an entity if you have any risk. So, for example, if in your sole proprietorship, you are providing people with advice and it could influence their lives in a way that could subject you to liability. Some people who are real estate professionals choose to get an LLC. They don't have to, but they say, you know what? I'm advising people on investing, so I'm going to get an LLC. Some people who are doing things, for example, they may be providing pharmaceuticals or selling them. They're an independent contractor, but they say, I'm going to get an LLC. Just in case something happens, if I get sued, I don't want them to come after me personally. So when you get an LLC, you are an entity. That means you have a name of your LLC. It could be Lynn Richardson LLC. For example, I have an LLC with my name. That's a single member LLC where you are still a sole proprietor. The benefits, the tax benefits, and the ability to register and all of those things are the same. I should say register with the IRS, except as a sole proprietor, you're using your name and your social security number. As a single member LLC, you're using the entity name that you created and your EIN. With the LLC, you have the protection of the corporate veil. That means if someone comes to sue you, they will not be able to attach their lawsuit to your personal house, your personal assets, your personal car. Now, here's the thing with a single member LLC, and we're going to talk about protection in a future class. You must, and I know lots of people have LLCs, but one of the things I'm going to tell you, the only thing worse than not having a business is having a janky business. And if you have an LLC, but you do not have a corporate record book. And in that corporate record book, you have your membership certificates, your resolutions, how your business runs, your minutes and your instructions and all those things. Then you are out of order. And if you have an LLC and you do not have a record book, or you've never even heard of it, and more importantly, you don't own one, and I'm going to just grab mine because I'm in my office. I'm going to show you what it looks like. This is my record book. This is my corporate record book for Lynn Richardson LLC. Okay. And in it are legal documents and instructions for how I run my business. So the mistake that people make is, this is my single member LLC. It's just me. I can just do what I want with the money. No. If you are not running that entity like an entity, then you will not get the protection of the entity. I had a case with someone, a student, during the pandemic. She had an LLC. She had a real estate transaction that went south. She went to court, and the judge said, okay, this is the plaintiff versus such and such LLC. The first thing the judge asked her for was her corporate book. And because she didn't have one, the judge dismissed the case. Ruled in favor of the plaintiff, and she had to pay back tens of thousands of dollars. Because when you have an LLC, you cannot speak for yourself, because you said I have an entity. The entity has to speak for itself. And the only way the entity can speak for itself is if it has proper documents. So we're talking about financial health and wellness. If you have an LLC and you do not have your appropriate corporate documentation, your business is not well, and you are in jeopardy, and you are harming yourself. So that's the difference between a sole proprietorship and an LLC. Now that's as a sole proprietorship. There's a second type of LLC that you have where you have other members. So you may get together with other people, or you may get together with other businesses, and you create a member managed LLC. That means there are different people with stakes in the entity. You can also have that kind of LLC, but when I say a sole proprietorship, that's not what I'm referring to. That is a business with other people. And many of the tax things that I'm going to teach you about are the things that you get when you have a sole proprietorship. So again, sole proprietorship, name and social security number, I run it how I want to run it. Single member LLC, business name and entity, I've got to run it like a business with corporate documents so that I can get the protection of the corporate veil, I can get tax write-offs, and I can take advantage of the reason why businesses were created in the first place. Thank you for that question. That's a very important question. What's our next question?
Can we get a realistic timeline for starting passive incomes online in order to be more efficient and have fair expectations?
Can you get an efficient timeline? Yes, you absolutely can get an efficient timeline. It's all about creating a strategy, and it's about creating a business plan. And so if you are interested in learning more about how to create a strategy and a business plan over time, and I wish that there was an easier answer for this, but the truth is, let's just say, for example, if you're going to build a building, someone's going to build a building, they're going to build a house, for example. They don't just go out and start building the house. They don't just go out and get the bricks and the sticks and the wood, the hammer. Someone actually has to create a blueprint first. The blueprint checks all the measurements, make sure there's a foundation, make sure everything lines up. And then they start with, okay, we're going to build on this day. We're going to inspect. The building is an infrastructure. The building is an inanimate object. And if it's important to create a blueprint for a building or an inanimate object, guess what? It's important to create a blueprint for your business, which is your life, which is your livelihood. So a realistic timeline, I would say 60 to 90 days. But I've seen people have streams of income that start in a week because they are thorough. They understand how to put the proper systems in place. They know how to communicate well. They market well, and they do all of those things that they need to do. So for ongoing support, go to lynnrichardson.org, because we provide free examples all the time. And you may want to ask for additional resources that can provide you with the information that you need in order to create a blueprint. But that's a great, great, great question. I'm also going to say this. There are also things that you can do tomorrow. Okay. There are also things that you can do tomorrow. You can go in a side hustle, and you want to think about what those things may be. So while you are creating a blueprint for how to build an income stream, you also want to go out and think about those things that you can do today. I mean, there were times when in my life, I said, you know what? I'll go do temporary work. I just need the money. I need to do something legal, ethical, and moral where I can bring in income to be able to take care of myself. And while I'm on the train, I'm going to build my plan. While I'm on the bus, I'm going to build my plan. Maybe I'm going to carpool. I won't drive every day. So while instead of driving and not being able to think and be creative, so I want you to start thinking about things in that way. So the whole idea is, yes, to get more money, but do not become discouraged by the timeline and the process, because it takes steps. And if you take one step and then another step and then another step, you will eventually get to your goal. Very, very good question. Do we have more questions?
Is the most important step to financial freedom life insurance?
The most important step to financial freedom is not life insurance. The most important step to financial freedom is mindset. The most important step to financial freedom is changing your mind. More money doesn't solve a money problem. If it did, millionaires wouldn't go bankrupt. More life insurance doesn't solve a money problem. People get life insurance and spend it in 2 weeks. I've seen it happen over and over and over again. People get life insurance and don't have enough of it. People get life insurance and blow it. People get life insurance and they leave it to their child. And then unfortunately, something happens to them before the child becomes an adult age. And now the child has nothing while they're growing up. And then when they turn 18 and get access to the money, they blow it. Or they leave the money to a trusted family member, and that family member spends the money. So no, there is no resource that is greater than your mindset. And it is this. It is understanding this, living this, and believing this. Knowledge is not power until it is put into action. So it is what we're doing with our mind, what we put into it, and the action that we take after it. There is no single one thing that can exceed the power of how you were thinking about what you're doing. That is the most important asset. Thank you for that question. Any more questions?
How would you go about starting the real estate investment with no down payment?
How would I go about starting a real estate investment with no down payment? Well, I'm going to give you two answers. One is where you have no money. But I'm going to ask you, what do you have? Do you have good credit? Do you have the real estate license? Are you a planner and a thinker and a strategizer? Do you have knowledge? If that's the case, you may want to think about starting a real estate investment group or real estate investment club, a real estate investment partnership, a real estate investment LLC. And so you may have the credit, someone else may have the money, someone else may have the real estate license, someone else may have the home inspection license, someone else may be the appraiser. There may be someone else in your real estate club that can provide the thing that you don't. But when you come together, collaboration is one of the keys to elevation. So don't not count yourself out. count yourself in and figure out how to create that group. The second answer is get the money. Okay. So when people say to me, Lynn, what's the program for people with bad credit? I say, fix your credit. What's the program for people with no money? Get some money. What's the program for people with whatever it is that you don't have? Go out and get it. So when my husband and I bought our first home, we had to fix our credit. I wasn't able to buy the home in the first week. It took me 60 days. One of my very first customers, my very first clients, she had 4 bankruptcies and 2 foreclosures. She followed the mortgage approval plan and it took her 9 months. Okay. So it's not about what do I do today if I have bad credit. It's what do I do today to improve what I have to get to where I'm supposed to be. Because if I get better, I am better. So if you are looking to buy a home, think about your subscriptions that you are spending money on that you don't need. Think about the club or the party or the extracurricular activities or any of those things that you may be doing that you can allocate that money someplace else so that you can start to build that emergency fund or that saving fund. So those will be my 2 answers for those who don't have money. 1, collaborate and figure out how to leverage everybody else's gifts as well as yours. And 2, go and get it. But
So
I'll talk more about real estate when we get to that session. Okay, I'll talk more about that.
Awesome. So we have 2 more questions. The next one is, what is your take on purchasing gold versus investing in the stock market?
My take on purchasing gold versus investing in the stock market is learn how to invest. So I do not give investment advice. That is it's against the law, for 1. Okay. And for 2, investing is an individual experience as unique as your fingerprint. Investing is an individual experience as unique as your DNA. Even if you have a twin, or even if you are a triplet, or you are a quadruplet or part of a quintuplet, you still have an individual DNA. And the number 1 thing you need to learn about investing is to learn your DNA. For many, many, many years, for decades even, I helped everybody invest in real estate. I helped people build real estate empires, but I didn't invest in real estate. It wasn't in my DNA. It wasn't so I was taking care of a household, children, jobs, this, that, and the other. It wasn't something that I personally had the capacity and or the interest level quite frankly, or the energy level to invest in. So if you go to lynnrichardson.org, you will find opportunities where you can learn how to invest so that you can learn which investments are best for your DNA. Thank you for that question.
Last question. Could I get money from equity from my house to start a business?
That is an excellent question. And my answer to that is yes, if you have a plan. Here's what I do not condone or recommend. I do not recommend that you go take equity out of your house for a few reasons. 1, I do not recommend that you take equity out of your house to pay anybody's tuition. I do not recommend that you take equity out of your house to get yourself out of bankruptcy. I do not recommend that you get equity out of your house to start a business that does not have a specific, significant business plan, expansion and scaling strategy, and profit strategy. Okay. There are many, many examples of people who have created empires, and you've heard them tell their stories of how they leveraged everything. They went and got their money out of retirement. They got the money out of their house. They borrowed, they robbed Peter to pay Paul and Sue and Joe. They did everything. And some of those people made it. Some of them made it after foreclosure and failure and bankruptcy, but somehow they made it through. But for everyone who made it through, there are probably millions who did not. So before you go and take your asset, your equity in your home, your equity gives you power in the future. Your equity gives you the ability to leverage the investment that you have created and built in order to build something else, but you want to do so with a strategy. And let me tell you what a strategy is not. A strategy is not your MBA. A strategy is not your law degree. A strategy is not your bachelor's degree. A strategy is not your associate's degree. There are many people with degrees who have failed in their business. Having a successful business requires information, action, and knowledge that you do not get from a degree. Let me repeat. Having a successful business requires information, action, knowledge, and I would even say collaboration that you do not get from a degree. It requires practical experience. It requires being open. It requires leveraging the knowledge of other people. It requires looking at yourself and telling yourself the truth. What are you good at? What are you bad at? It literally requires that you have a strategy and you have a plan. And one of the things that I use to help people create a strategy in their business is the Master Achievement Plan. I'll tell you a little bit about that in a future session. But if you want to know more about creating a strategy for your business so it can actually be successful, then join our free community at lynnrichardson.org. That was an excellent question. Do we have any more questions? I think we may have time for one more. Let's see if any came in here on my device. I have a question, and I'm going to take, this is a great question. What are the most common financial mistakes people make that hinder their ability to accumulate wealth, and how can they avoid them? I would say one of the most common mistakes that people make is not facing the truth. That's the number one mistake. When I was spending more money than I made, I wasn't facing the truth. When I was ignoring my financial situation, I wasn't facing the truth. When I was going out and still trying to spend money and give money to people and loan money to people when I didn't have it, I was not facing the truth. And the one thing that you can do to avoid this, or several things you can do, is one, acknowledge that the truth will make you free. The truth, only the truth. You can, 1 + 1 does not equal 3. No matter how you believe it, no matter how you try to justify it, it will not. And when you face the truth, no matter how much it hurts, once you get past that pain, you will get to promise. The second thing that I'm going to say is, after you face the truth, surround yourself by people who will continue to help you see it. Do not surround yourself with people who are going to make you feel guilty. Do not surround yourself. Don't explain yourself to anyone who's going to make you feel guilty. Surround yourself with people who are going to help you to continue to see the truth and cheerlead you on your path to financial wellness. Okay. I'm going to wait for our moderators or organizers to let me know what's next.
Okay, Dr. Lynn, thank you. Thank you again. You have done it. We are excited, and we have our assignment, our reflection assignments, and we are going to write down our visions. We are going to face the truth and begin by writing down all that comes to mind, our current situations, our dreams, our aspirations, and then the things that we know we need to work on. Thank you for that. For those of you who have not registered, we encourage you to do so by visiting www.deltafoundation.net, and you will see the icon for the Empowering Communities, Families and Communities Financial Health and Wellness Program. If you click on that, you will see the registration link. Again, being registered allows you to receive emails and updates via constant contact. And if you need any of the worksheets, and I'm seeing that some people need worksheets, you will be able to have those emailed to you. We will also upload those documents on our website. And if you want to, and we really want you to encourage people, family and friends, to watch these sessions, they may do so by watching the replays on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and on the DREF website. Well, you all, this is 2 sessions down, but the great news is that we have 8 more to go, and we will have a wealth of information so that we can continue to build our wealth. Thank you for joining us this evening. Dr. Lynn, do you have any parting words?
The harvest is here. The time is now. It is your season to win, and I'm going to help you get there.
Thank you so much. We thank you all for joining us this evening. Make sure you check your email and do your homework and reflections. We will see you next Thursday, 7:45 for the pre-session videos and 8 o'clock for Dr. Lynn. And those are Eastern Standard Times. Take care and see you next Thursday.
Bye-bye.